We're in Algebra 2 at 10.2d now. We're going to find the center and radius by completing the square. We've got 5 previous videos for Chapter 10. If you become lost or confused, click this description and you'll see all the links to the previous videos. We can find the coordinates of the center and the radius of a circle by first completing the square of an equation. And completing the square helps us find the standard form of the equation of a circle. And we first learned about how to complete the square for quadratic equations back in video 8.1b. There's going to be a link to that one too in case you need a refresher. And the standard form of an equation for a circle is the square of x minus h plus the square of y minus k equals r squared. It's for the center point hk with radius r. That's what we talked about in the last couple videos. So we can find the center and radius of this equation. We can complete the squares to get the standard form. So we can see we've got x squared plus y squared plus this 8x minus 2y plus 15, and it's set to equal 0. To complete the square, we put the x squared plus the 8x together, and we can see that's where the square needs to be completed. We put this y squared minus 2y here, and that's where the square needs to be completed. And we subtract 15 from each side of the equation, or you could say we add a negative 15 to each side of the equation so that we get it to equal a negative 15. See? We complete the square for this side. We bring the 8 down and divide it by 2, which is a 4, and we square it. 4 squared is a 16, so we put a 16 there. Negative 2 divided by 2 is a negative 1. Negative 1 squared is a positive 1. Now, because we added a 16 and a 1 to this side, we have to do the same thing to this side of the equation. It's got to be balanced, right? What's good for the goose is good for the gander. So we add a 16 and a 1 to this side. Negative 15 plus 16 is a positive 1. Plus that 1, you get a positive 2. Now we can simplify this. This equation becomes x plus 4 in parentheses, and it's squared. See that? This equation becomes the square of y minus 1. See? And it's set to equal 2. So now it's in this form, isn't it? See that? To completely put it in this form, we have to get rid of that plus sign, though, don't we? So we can put minus a negative 4, because we have a minus sign here and a minus sign there. See that? So now the center is a negative 4 and a 1. And the radius is the square root of 2, because it's got to be r squared, doesn't it? So don't just leave it as a 2. It's the square root of 2, okay? Let's try this again. We can find the center and radius of this circle. So I'm going to spell it out now. We've got x squared plus y squared minus 12x minus 8y plus 27 equals 0. We're going to add that negative 27 to each side of the equation. So it's going to equal negative 27. Now we can put the x squared minus this 12x here, and that's the square that needs to be completed. We've got the y squared minus 8y, and that's the square that needs to be completed, and it equals a negative 27. We take this 12, the coefficient for x, we divide it by negative 12, we divide it by 2, and we get a negative 6, and we square it. Negative 6 times negative 6 is a positive 36, so that's the square completed. This negative 8 divided by 2 is a negative 4. When we square that, we get a positive 16. So because we added 36 and 16 to this left side of the equation, we have to add it to the right side of the equation to keep it balanced, right? So negative 27 plus 36 plus 16 gives us a positive 25. It's got to be r squared, right? So we have to square that. When we simplify this, we get the square of x minus 6, which equals that, plus the square of y minus 4 for this one. And it's going to equal the square of 25. See? If I did x minus 6 times x minus 6 and I FOILed it, I would get this. If I did y minus 4 times y minus 4 and I FOILed it, I would get this. Okay? So it's going to equal 5, because the square root of 25 is 5, isn't it? So we know our center is 6 and 4, and our radius is 5. See? Now, I also want to point out, because it's in the homework, it says to find it at a certain center tangent to the y-axis or tangent to the x-axis, I wanted to remind you, we talked about this in middle school. Tangent means it's touching at one point. So here's a tangent line to this circle. It's touching it at this one point. So if it's tangent to the y-axis, here we've got a center of 5 for x and 11 for y, and it's tangent to the y-axis. It's touching it at that one point. This one's tangent to the x-axis. Its center is at -7, -4. See? And it's touching the x-axis at that one point, so it's tangent. Okay? So if you come across that, you'll know what they're talking about. All right? In our next video, we're going to talk about unit circles with a radius of 1. And that's 10.2e. I'm going to add this to the Algebra 2 playlist, and I'm going to have links to those 5 previous videos for this chapter 10, plus that completing the square video for 8.1b. But you really should remember how to complete a square by now, okay? Plus I kind of explained it right here, right? So you should be okay. If this was a helpful video, please hit the like button, and don't forget I'm on patreon.com if you want to become a monthly patron. And if you can't afford to, just make sure you click my ads, because I make a little money off of every time you click an ad, okay? I'll see you next video. Bye.